Okay, let's dive into this explainer and take a really close look at the Volvo EX30. On paper, this vehicle is being introduced as Volvo's bold manifesto for modern, sustainable electric mobility. It's stepping into the spotlight with a massive weight on its shoulders, promising to deliver high-end Scandinavian luxury, blistering performance, and serious eco-credentials, all wrapped up in a super compact package. But what actually happens when you take it off the pristine showroom floor and, well, live with it? That is exactly what we're going to unpack today.
It's a pretty fascinating paradox, right? We're looking at a brand that's traditionally known for substantial, tank-like estates and massive SUVs, and now they're practically betting the house on their smallest car to date. Can a compact, premium SUV truly fulfill such ambitious goals and make the biggest impact for the company? Today, we're going to bridge that gap between those shiny official brochure specs and the gritty, sometimes a bit frustrating reality of long-term ownership.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Meet the Volvo EX30. 2. Sustainable Scandinavian design. 3. Power, performance, and tech. 4. Real-world driving experience. 5. Software quirks and niggles. And finally, 6. Is it for you?
Section 1. Meet the Volvo EX30, the small SUV with massive goals.
The EX30 is a real departure from tradition. For starters, it's the very first Volvo to sit on a native electric Geely platform, which actually allows it to start around a highly affordable 33,000 pounds. And its length? Just 4.23 meters. To put that into perspective, that's a really similar footprint to a Ford Puma. It makes the car an absolute dream for tight urban environments, squeaking into tiny city parking spots and navigating narrow country roads. But despite being so compact, it absolutely retains that legendary Volvo DNA when it comes to advanced driver assistance and safety sensors.
What's really interesting here is the sheer versatility of the lineup. Volvo isn't just releasing one single version and calling it a day. They are casting a really wide net. You've got everything from a highly accessible 150 horsepower entry-level motor that's designed to optimize your daily efficiency, all the way up to an adventurous cross-country variant that gives you a raised ride height and a much more rugged style. There's genuinely an option for almost every single type of compact SUV buyer.
Moving right along to Section 2. Sustainable Scandinavian design, a minimalist and eco-conscious cabin. Now, Volvo has always been heavily praised for its interiors, but here they've clearly taken a leaf right out of Polestar's playbook on decarbonization. The crucial point is how they managed to achieve luxury without the traditional environmental cost. There is absolutely zero animal leather here. Instead, you get distinct design themes with cool names like Breeze and Indigo that utilize upcycled denim, woven flax, and literally ground plastic salvaged from old window frames. There's also this incredibly unique material called Nordico, which is actually made from pine oil sourced directly from Sweden and Finland. It's a completely reimagined sensory experience, and it proves that eco-conscious design for sure doesn't have to feel cheap.
And all of those really thoughtful material choices lead us directly to a magic number: 30. Volvo calculates that over a life cycle of 200,000 kilometers, the EX30 will produce a carbon footprint of under 30 tons of CO2. And yes, that actually includes the emissions from manufacturing the car in the first place. This gives the EX30 the lowest carbon footprint of any Volvo produced to date. It is a massive, massive selling point for the eco-conscious buyer.
Section 3. Power, performance, and tech, packing a serious punch.
Okay, don't let the woven flax fool you into thinking this car is just some docile, slow-moving eco-box. No way. In its twin-motor performance, guys, this little SUV dispatches the 0 to 60 sprint in just 3.4 seconds. That doesn't just make it fast. That literally makes it the fastest accelerating Volvo ever produced. It is an absolute rocket ship.
Alongside that raw, blistering power, the EX30 is packed to the brim with cutting-edge tech. It runs on a native Android automotive system, meaning Google Maps and Google Assistant are baked right into the car itself, offering some of the best voice recognition on the market right now. It also supports over-the-air updates, meaning the car actually improves and patches bugs over time, aggressively fighting off technological obsolescence. But honestly, my favorite feature? The vehicle-to-load capability. With a special adapter, you can practically turn this car into a giant rolling power bank to charge up an e-bike or power your entire campsite.
Let's move to Section 4, Real-World Driving Experience, taking the cross-country off the brochure.
For this, we're drawing on a fantastic long-term review from Electrifying to see how these numbers actually translate off the brochure. First up, range. The official WLTP range for the big battery model is a very respectable 271 miles. But what about the real world? Well, it's a bit of a different story depending on the season.
During a freezing winter road trip down to Belgium, driving through sleet and heavy winds, the reviewers saw about 170 miles to a charge. Now, as the weather warmed up closer to those summer commutes, that efficiency improved beautifully to about 230 miles. It's absolutely vital to understand this expectation gap going in. Weather impacts EV range significantly.
But range aside, the actual driving dynamics are stellar. The reviewer noted its brilliant composure on motorways, saying it felt planted and remarkably quiet even in horrible crosswinds. The standard four-way electric seats were praised as perhaps the absolute best in their class. Plus, when you use the native Google Maps to plan a charging stop, the battery preconditioning works flawlessly in the background to ensure you get those fast charging speeds. And remember that compact 4.23-meter size we talked about? It proved absolutely ideal for navigating narrow, pothole-heavy rural roads, especially with the slightly raised ride height you get on the cross-country variant.
Section 5. Software quirks and niggles. The daily frustrations.
Look, when you push for total minimalism and rely entirely on software, you inevitably run into some daily frustrations. I absolutely love this quote from the electrifying review regarding the keyless entry. The EX30's key fob is basically just a lightweight plastic cube with no buttons whatsoever. And the reality? Sometimes it simply refuses to detect you. You end up doing this strange, awkward dance in the parking lot, literally rubbing the key against the car, hoping it decides to unlock. The reviewer joked it's like the car is sulking and demands a secret handshake just to let you in. Sure, you can use your phone as a backup key, but even that isn't perfectly infallible.
And this brilliantly illustrates the downside of total minimalism. Get this. There is no driver's instrument screen behind the wheel. None. Everything, including your current speed, is sitting on the center screen. While some drivers adapt pretty quickly, this can heavily frustrate traditional buyers. Then there's the genuine safety aspect of minimalism. Turning on your fog lights requires digging deep into the touchscreen settings. That is the absolute last thing you want to be doing while driving into a sudden fog bank. Add in some sporadic connection issues where Apple CarPlay just refuses to launch automatically, and you have a car that can occasionally definitely test your patience.
Section 6. Is it for you? The final verdict.
So what does this all mean? Well, if you are an urban professional or a dynamic couple needing a car that's incredibly easy to park but still packs a serious punch, this is for you. If you are a digital native, someone who just loves tech, sleek design, and smartphone-like minimalism, you'll probably easily forgive the lack of a driver's display. And if you're an eco-conscious family wanting a zero-emission daily driver backed by Volvo's legendary safety standards, the EX30 is a phenomenal, forward-thinking fit. You just kind of have to be willing to embrace its quirks.
Before we wrap up this explainer, I just want to explicitly and warmly thank you, the viewer, for your time and focus today. We absolutely love breaking down these complex topics for you, and your attention really means the world to us.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We've seen the blistering 3.4-second acceleration, the completely zero-leather upcycled interiors, and the lowest carbon footprint in Volvo's entire history. But we've also seen the sulking key fobs and the frustratingly buried touchscreen menus. So the ultimate question is, are the sustainable innovations and that stunning performance enough to make you overlook the software quirks? Think about it. Thanks for joining me, and keep learning.